What's up, my Yuki Bros? I'm here as the one, the only, the RJB0. Welcome to Casual Friday. This week I have a couple of special things. The first special thing is I want to show M Stranger I have your Megaton, and it is going in the mail as soon as I can figure out how the hell to ship this darn thing. The second thing is having to do with how you become my favorite subscribers. And the way you become my favorite subscribers is by sending me signed Ultra Junk Wares, which Brendan and Bubbles of Semi-Limited have done. Now, they didn't just send me signed junk wares, they sent top loaders with little things that say from Eric of Semi-Limited and Brendan of Semi-Limited, and they sent a little note on the back with the doctor on it because they're just great people that says to do, give junk wares to the RJB0. Time-ish, Dimension C32, and it says, please promptly burn upon reading, not imperative, but fire is just cool. Figuratively, he adds. And it's from Semi-Limited. I'm not actually going to burn this because this is actually a super cool note. So these two junk warriors are going to be going into my Hall of Fame of Ultra Junk Warriors. Now, most of you know that Junk Warrior is like my favorite card ever. I have an entire page on a binder of Ultra Junk Warriors, and I'm trying to get all of them signed. I have a few signed Junk Warriors here to show you guys today that I really like. This one was signed by Cassandra Lee Morris, who voiced Yubel in the GX series. I have one from Cordero Spencer, also known as Vexicus4666, and while I was there, Jarrell Winston was also at Nationals when I got the Vexicus Junk Warrior, so he signed this Junk Warrior. So I am trying to get all 18 of my Junk Warriors signed. However, as I gain new Junk Warriors, I get extra ones. And many of you guys have seen the drawing that is next to my face on my channel logo, and that drawing is actually a hand-drawn Junk Warrior that I did for the last person who won one of my giveaways. Now, I really cannot repeat that feat. That was like the best drawing I have ever done. However, what I can do for M Stranger to send with the tin is I'm going to sign a Junk Warrior for you. One of my special collection of Ultra Junk Warriors. This one is even first edition, so that's some special stuff right there. I realize this is nowhere near anything like the hand-drawn Junk Warrior, but I really just cannot pull that off again. So I'm just going to try and sign this Junk Warrior and fit my entire extremely sloppy signature onto the damn thing. And there it is. That is my crazy sloppy signature going up the side of a Junk Warrior, and it says the RJB0 on it. I hope you are happy with this. I absolutely love Junk Warriors, so I hope people are as excited to get my Junk Warriors as I am to receive new Junk Warriors myself. So there you guys go. Those are my new favorite subscribers. I mean, they were among my favorite subscribers before. Wait, whoa. There's a special note from Semi-Limited on the inside of the other note, and I haven't read it until now because I didn't notice that it was in there. It says, we've been watching your channel for a while and love doing so. Here's to the success of both your channel and your ever-expanding Junk Warrior collection. From Brendan of Semi-Limited. That is so cool, guys. Thank you. You became even more so my favorite subscribers because of this note. This is just an awesome note. Thank you guys so much for sending me those Junk Warriors. They are going up there in my collection next to the Cassandra Lee Morris Junk Warrior and the Vexy Junk Warrior and the Pro Winston Junk Warrior. So that is my special thing that I am doing today. Let's move on to the Q&A. We start off with Jared. It's just Jared. There's nothing else. Jared asks, do you think the Nekloth archetype is going to be as bonkers as I think it's going to be? I think that in the OCG, at the very least, it's going to be nutty. In the TCG, we're not getting nearly enough cards in the near future for it to be really competitive. We're getting Gungnir, and I don't know if we're getting Trishula, but that's just about it. So I don't think that it's going to be as nutty in the TCG as it's going to be in the OCG. Eventually, we're going to get those cards probably, but until then, I don't think it's going to be nearly as good as we thought of it before. Cleverly Done says, Curse of the Shadow Prison is the Shadow field spell. Talk about it, please. So last week I was trying to find a Shadow field spell, and I couldn't find it for some reason. It was actually Curse of the Shadow Prison, which I'd seen before, but I think I forgot about it because I think it's a hunk of junk. It's a field spell, which says each time a Shadow card, I believe it says, each time a Shadow monster is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, place one spellstone counter on this card for each sent monster. All monsters on your opponent controls lose 100 attack for each spellstone counter on this card, and then during your opponent's turn only they get that effect. And it says each time you fusion summon a Shadow fusion monster, you can remove 3 spellstone counters from this card to use one appropriate face-up monster your opponent controls as one of the fusion materials. So I think that this card is pretty awful, and the reason why I think this card is pretty awful is because it's slow. Part of the reason why Shadows have been doing really well is they can make their fusion plays really quickly, and they can make them while gaining a lot of advantage. In this one, you have a real incentive to wait to make those fusion plays until you have 3 spellstone counters on it. And so I think that it's unlikely to see play until it might see play once Shadows get their wind and their water fusions, because then they're more likely to be able to use this card, because against any deck they can use it. But until then, it's basically useless, because if you're playing against anything other than Burning Abyss and Stellar Knights, then you are almost never going to get to use this card's second effect, which is the important one, meaning that it's going to be a dead card until your opponent happens to play a light or a dark or a fire or earth monster. So I think that Curse of the Shadow Prison is not really a particularly impressive card. Let's see. From William Fenn, 3.5 seems to be the most unfair Fire Fist version. What do you think is an optimal build of it? I will actually show you, because guess what? This week coming up is Decks and Techs week, and I'm bringing you guys a ton of cool stuff, including 3 deck profiles of my own, those being Fire Fist, Mermail, and Evil Swarms. I'm also going to be doing a deck review of the new Volcanics, and I'm going to be getting a KMP deck profile a la Nick Gibson. So look forward to that. You will get a Fire Fist, in fact a 3.5 axis Fire Fist deck among those. From Grade 2 Efficient, which events do you think are more competitive for playing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta, ARG or YCS? Generally, I'd say that YCS are, just because they're bigger events for the most part, which means you're going to be in greater competition. They usually draw a wider crowd of competitive players rather than just ARG players and players who are in the area. For the most part, unless the players are with ARG, they aren't going to travel for an ARG CS, but for a YCS, people travel all the time. So you're going to get a more competitive playing field, and they're larger events. The draft thing is kind of a problem, but up until the top 16, I think that YCS are much more competitive than ARGCS. I wish that YCS followed ARGCS rules, but I mean, ARG and Konami are kind of, well, we'll just say their relationship is not the smoothest right now. From Lethal Flux, what do you think of Billy Brake's 60-card Shadow Artifact Burning Abyss deck, which landed in 7th place at YCS Dallas? The deck is really annoying to me, because I am usually prepared to face either Shadows or Burning Abyss or Artifacts. I can't do them all in one. I've tried to face against Shadow Burning Abyss decks before, and they're just really hard to make meta calls against, because other than Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, there isn't a lot that you can side for that deck, because many of the cards you can side are going to be dead against like half the strategy of the deck. So I think that even though I wouldn't condone the like 60 card thing, and I think it's silly that people are suddenly jumping on the bandwagon, like everybody and their mother was saying that Beginning of the End was a terrible card until Billy Brake used it, and now everybody's using it. But I think that the concept of Burning Abyss Shadows is really strong, just because it's very difficult to side against in comparison to just Burning Abyss or just Shadows. Let's see, with Ebon Illusion Magician coming out in Shonen Jump, do you think on the next ban list or the one after we might see Dark Magician of Chaos coming back to one? Well, every card is going to come off the ban list at least once, I think. So I think it is entirely plausible. I just don't know if it's going to come off the list in the near future. It just doesn't seem very likely to me that just to sell the Jump promo they would bring back Dark Magician of Chaos. Jump promos are not a huge selling point for Konami. From Will Stallman, do you read Game of Thrones? No, but I watch it. When it comes to reading, I'm more into space operas and various science fiction stuff. I'm also into some non-fiction things. But I do not actually read Game of Thrones. From Hades X736, how do you not get distracted by Yu-Gi-Oh! And other things while studying? I don't. I'm not actually in school at the moment. I will be later, but I feel like I was not usually distracted by Yu-Gi-Oh! While I was in school. I think that really just, it comes down to not going on Dueling Network while you're working and setting aside specific time for Yu-Gi-Oh! And specific time for studying. From Netcross013, do you think Anti-Spell Fragrance will be a decent thing to side against Clifforts? I think it's alright. I think that if you can beat out their established field and take out, take out their pendulum monsters or their pendulum zones, then it's a decent card. The problem is, like, MST and various trap hate and stuff like that is extremely ubiquitous right now, so I wouldn't recommend it. I think that System Down is the best side card for taking on Clifforts just because it removes their potential to OTK with Pendulum Summoning and makes it more difficult for them to Tribute Summon. The more you can use System Down, the more likely it is that you are going to take the game out from under the Cliffort player. From the Frankie Show 55, is Mayonnaise an instrument? No. Blackwings aren't a good deck either. That's a joke from ages ago. Anyway, Galactic God asks, what do you think about the 14 different promos in the new Challenger Super Edition? I think that Konami is coming up with way too many crazy new ideas trying to make things more appealing to sell. They're coming out with way too many new rarities and new editions of things, and I think just going to 14 promos is a little bit ridiculous, and it seems to me like a money grab of sorts because I feel like one of those promos is going to be amazing, and it's going to be like short printed, and the rest are going to be like eh. And so it's going to be more likely that people like try and buy it. Like, that seems like a very Konami thing to do recently. I don't know how I feel about the promos. I think it really depends on how good all of the promos are and what percentage of them are decent cards. From Team Adulce OTK, do you plan on doing another live stream with the Ignoble Knight of YouTube and Gage X Scapegoat? Possibly. I haven't been able to do them recently, and it probably seems like I am purposefully ignoring them, but I'm really not. It's just like whenever they've had a live stream going, I've been busy. So I might do one in the future, but recently I just haven't been able to do them. Also, my question is, if Fire Fists begin to do a little better with Wolfbark at 3, do you think Konami will put it back to 1? I don't think so. I don't think Wolfbark is going to go back to 1 anytime soon. The formats are just too fast right now for Wolfbark to be a real threat. From The Anarchist, what do you think of Inzectors? Well, it's kind of bad right now. They can make some crazy plays, but for the most part they can't do a whole lot, and they really don't have many outs to Shaddolls. They're just really easy to stop this format, and they don't accomplish nearly as much as they used to. From Ninja Neos the 4th, we have, do you know any channels that do OCG coverage? No, I'm not certain about any YouTube channels, but I do know that Yu-Gi-Oh! Edition Singapore is a great website for OCG news and OCG coverage. And another thing that you might want to check out is shriek.today.net. I will link you to that in the description below. Those are usually the ways that I get my OCG news and coverage. And finally, from the Dr. 2099, where can I find your Toto parody? I am going to make it this weekend, I promise. I have the Toto parody all set up. I just need to figure out a way to make a video for it. I might just do like sliding card art and then hope that that works out for the best. I don't really know if I have the energy to do a music video like I did with the Bujin song, but we will see. So that's all I have for you guys for Casual Friday. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't, let me know why in the comment section below. And of course, if you want me to answer any questions or discuss a certain topic, please let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, subscribe for more decks, discussion, analysis, and general Yu-Gi-Oh! Shenanigans. Thank you guys for watching. I am your host, the one, the only, the RJB0, and I got a jet. See you guys.